Hello everybody, hope you're well. This video is about two products. They actually come in a kit, but you can buy them separately. Now this is the OptiSolex S1, and this I didn't believe would work. When I got the email to look at this, I thought, nah, that's not going to work. I don't believe that for 1 minute, not at that price anyhow. So I asked them to send me it, and surprisingly it works very well. The other product from the same company is this foldable 400 watt solar panel. So let's just nip back to the cottage and I'll show you how it works. So this unit here, OptiSolex SolexBrick S1, which is this unit here, is something quite unique, and I've never seen it before, and I had to email the company just to clarify you can do what I'm about to do. Because it's the question I get all the time. If you don't know anything about solar, people usually say, if I buy a solar panel, can I connect it direct to my battery? And they say, no, you need a device in the middle, and that device in the middle is a MPPT, and that's a variable controller, so that monitors the amount of power coming out of this, because obviously a solar panel gets more power the more sun it's got till it gets to its limit, and then a cloud will come over. Like today, it's quite a cloudy day, so we've got sunny spells, voltage and power will go up, cloud comes over and it goes down again, and that doesn't do batteries any good, and needs to keep it in the parameters of what a battery can cope with. And then there's differences between lead acid, AGM, and certainly with lithium phosphate and lithium ion. And lithium batteries generally will take lots of power in over a short period of time, just like pouring the power in as much as it can get to charge the battery up real quickly. But old-fashioned batteries like this one, this is just a lead acid battery, needs a trickle charge to slowly build up the power. So the MPPT, the unit that you use in between the solar panel and your actual power unit, your battery, needs to be programmed to understand the parameters of the battery, what the solar panel is, to enable it to put the power in safely. But this new unit here, we'll have a look in more detail, is a plug and play unit to any battery within the parameters of voltage and amps, which I'll show you in a bit. But generally, if you have this unit here, you can use this 400 solar panel, which is from the same company, or any solar panel, and you can plug it straight to your battery, any type of battery within those parameters. And I didn't really think that was possible. I expected this to put power through this, there'll be a surge and it start to fry the battery. So what I've done is I've been up to the local farm and I've borrowed a battery, and I said, have you got an old battery, that one that's had a bit of hammer? So this one's about 11 volts, we'll have a look in a minute. And I'm going to test it with this solar panel through this S1 unit to see if it can trickle charge this battery appropriately. The other thing I asked them as well was, what happens if this is part of a circuit? So this is your leisure battery, say in your van, or your starter battery, which goes out to circuitry. How does this know what this is actually taking and what the rest of this circuit's taking? And I said, no, it's no problem, it manages that as well. So we'll try this without any load on it, and then we'll find something 12 volt to put on this and see if it varies the voltage. But if this works as it's supposed to, it's very, very impressive. So here's my test rig. We have a multimeter connected to these clips, so measuring currently the voltage of this battery at 10.63, and then we have a pair of solar connectors to connect to the solar panel through the S1 unit. Let's see what happens. That's quickly ramping up now to 13, 14. And it looks to be regulating itself around that voltage. And if you think of a car alternator, that will charge between 13 and 14 volts, which is what is happening there. So that looks like it's working. So the next test we need to do, and the sun's coming out, which is good, so that's a 400 watt solar panel through the S1 unit directly to the battery. and it's cutting off around the 14 volts. So it must be, the S1 unit must be measuring the resistance in the battery, and it must have a chip in there that understands what that calculates to give the appropriate voltage for charging, which is pretty damn clever. But let's put a load onto the battery now to create a circuit from it, as it would do if it was your leisure battery or your starter battery. So now I've connected a 12 volt lead up to the battery. So going to this battery is the solar through the S1 unit. My meter's plugged in, so we're monitoring the voltage. And then I've linked negative and positive to this connector, which I'll put into the Bluetti to give a draw on the power. And this should tell us how much is going in there as well. So this here is staying at a stable voltage. There's no power going into this though. Ah! It's fully charged. Let me take some power out that to start with. Or let me actually put a load on that as well. Right, here we go. I've plugged a jackery into a Bluetti, which I'm sure there's some sort of law around that. That's pulling 170 odd watts, dropping this down nicely. The battery is plugged into the S1, into the 400 watt solar panel. The voltage is staying constant around the 14 volts side, and now we'll put another load on the battery to create a circuit as if this was powering the rest of your camper van or to your vehicle. So that's gone on there now, and that's starting to ramp up now. That's dropping down, which you should expect it to see. It drop down slightly, because what you don't want is that to the solar panel and the S1 to start going through this to power that by ramping up the power. So it looks like the S1 is regulating through the battery, which is what you would expect. Because if you were to plug this in here and then that voltage to go up, you know this is not playing properly. So that S1 seems to be doing the job fine. It's putting 100 watts in here, which is what this is regulated at really. It's taking out 170 odd watts to the jackery, and it's regulating the power to the battery to charge it. So I think we'll leave it like that for a while, and we'll see if it's actually charged the battery. It's been running for a while now. I've been out and had a cup of tea, or I've been in and had a cup of tea. So we're quite sunny at the moment. That panel should be pumping out around its maximum of 400 watts. The voltage regulator on here is back at the 13 to 14 volts. But if you notice on this, the actual input's starting to drop because this is nearly fully charged. So the way these work is that it'll take a load of power in, or any lithium battery will take a load of power in till the last bit, and then it starts to slow it down, and that's what we're seeing here. And this is still putting 200 watts into this. And there are varying. This is almost charged as well, so this is varying. Let's have some more, let's slow it down. As is this now. And that's relevant to the voltage on there as well. So my conclusion to that is that S1 unit there is doing exactly what it says to a very old lead acid battery. And if it can cope with a lead acid battery, a lithium battery is going to be a lot easier, because lithium batteries have battery management systems inside. But to be able to switch between the different ones and to having a circuit is quite unique. So I've disconnected the jackery now, that's practically charged. And now disconnect this, and we should see that voltage go up now. And it does, and it shouldn't go too high, it should go about 14, maybe 15 volts. leads are not hot, the battery is not hot. Stabilising there, which is about right. And there's no variation for the clouds going over the panel. Okay, it's been running for a while now, so that battery should have boosted its charge, even though it's had a load on it. So I'll just connect one of the solar links. And this is the voltage of the battery now. It's not connected on the positive side to the solar panel or the S1. And yeah, look at that. The battery's holding around 13 volts. And that is an old battery. It's been well abused as that battery. That is so impressive. That is so impressive it can do that. I've left that battery connected to the meter for about another hour and it's still at 12.6 volts. So it's settled down and it's undoubtedly being charged by the solar panel. I nearly forgot to mention as well, as part of this video we've got this to give away as well. So it's one giveaway for the 2 units together. Stay watching and you'll find out how you can win this later on in the video. Now you've got to admit, if you know anything about solar, this is impressive after those tests. I purposely didn't test it on a lithium battery because, as I said in that video, lithium batteries generally, if you've got a quality one, they have a battery management system inside, so it would cope with any variations or any problems or just shut down. But for this to take a 400 watt solar panel and charge a very old knackered lead acid battery as it did is very, very impressive. There's some very clever electronics in this, and it's about time we had something like this because it's quite antiquated when you think about it. You have to buy that separate box that you have to program to your panel and to your battery and battery type, but this does it automatically. So very impressed with that. And of course, if you use this, there's lots of variations. I'll show you in a minute in the instruction book. There's lots of variations how you can use this with hard panels. So if you have these linked to your panels and then these linked together, if one panel is covered or in cloud, it doesn't reduce the voltage and the power of the system overall, which is again very clever. In the box, you don't get a lot in the box. You get a mounting bracket to fasten it to a hard panel and a screw and a screwdriver to fasten it in there, but it's just as simple as it is. 2 cables, the power in from the solar panel and the power out either to another solar panel if you put it in series or to whatever you're going to run it to. So I'm suitably impressed with that, and it's not ridiculously priced. I'm not 100% sure of the prices at the moment for all this because they're new products, but if I get it while I'm editing I'll put it down here. But I know they're going to be good value. I'll just show you quickly in the instruction book. There's comprehensive instructions with this. One thing that puzzled me why I asked all the questions was it shows it going to a battery but no circuit, and we've obviously proved that works. But you can use the S1 system. It comes with a connector to fasten to the back of a hard solar panel. There's some of the specifications, and you can use it in series as well. And the advantage of this is if that panel gets covered, because you're using these separate MPPT S1 units, you're not going to drop all the power out the solar system. You can fasten them to bus bars, or you can move them into series like that. But the instruction book covers lots and lots of different specifications and how you can use them. Flexible, foldable, 400 watt solar panel that you can use with this, or you can just use like you would use any other portable solar panel. But the difference being is, look at the size of that for a 400 watt solar panel and how light it is. And the price is relevant too. This uses type N panels, cells within the actual panel. And that's one of the better qualities. There's the P type or the N type, and this has got the N type in. But if you compare that size, physical size, to any other 400 watt portable solar panel, this is a fraction of the size and a fraction of the weight as well. And this is quite cleverly designed as well. So this is a 400 watt panel, but you can unzip it and have 2 200 watt panels. So you can have them in different areas. Or if you just want to take one of the 200 watt panels with you, it can be fastened up like this. Comes with some straps, and you can take it off to your campsite or to the beach and just use it as that. or you use the full thing as a 400 watt panel. So let's look at this. As I say, it comes with straps with it, so you can use it like a rucksack. And it literally just unfolds like so. And as I say, if you don't want to use it as a 400 watt solar panel, you can unzip it and have two separate 200 watt solar panels that both have their own connectors on. And as well as having the connector leads on, they also have USBs on the actual panel as well. So you could take this, plug your laptop into it, or plug your phone into it, or any device that's charges from USBs, and charge it from them. And then when you want to zip it together, let me get it the right way up. Super flexy. You just fasten them back together with a zip. Like so. If you're using it as a 400 watt solar panel, you connect it in series using both the leads. There's the straps for a backpack. So you collect the positive to negative, and then you'd have the spare positive and negative from this that you'd run your solar lead from to whatever you're using it, to the S1 system that we've seen, or into your power station or whatever else you're going to charge from it. And this side as well has the USBs on there as well. That's pretty impressive really. I don't rely on a lot of solar because I have one of these, and that's a Bluetti Charger 1, and that's absolutely brilliant. That bangs out 800 watts of power when I'm driving and charges my Bluetti charging system up. No problem whatsoever. I do have the Victron system in the back that fastens to my leisure battery, but mainly I rely on this. But obviously if I'm not driving, I'm not putting any power into my power stations, so I do have some solar on the roof. And on the roof I have 300 watts of energy panels. They're 150 watts each, and as you can see by the side of the roof rack, which causes a shadow, there's always a canoe or a kayak on the roof that causes a shadow. And I'll put a clip in now. It's a reasonably sunny day. I'll show you how much power I'm getting from 300 watts of them, and then we'll look how much power we'll get out the other panel. Very inefficient, particularly in the winter, flat panels on the roof of a van, because they get dusty, as these have. That's got some bed droppings on it, and you're forever cleaning them. But if they're not tilted to an angle in in a winter, you get very little power from them. And you have to really have them on an angle and pointing towards the sun at the right angle to get some decent power off them. And you know, I can't cover the roof in solar panels because I use it for kayaks and canoes. So it's not the most efficient way of doing it, but it does produce some power for me to top up the leisure battery. And with these being so light, you can put them on your awning like that, which gives a perfect place for them. Gets them out the way, stop people walking over them, gives a good angle to the sun, and they're out the way. You can forget about them. They are waterproof, or you can put it on the roof of your car or your van. So even if I've got a canoe and a kayak on the roof, I could put these over the top of it and I'll still get some solar. And of course they're detachable, so I could detach them into two and have a 200 watt solar panel across the windscreen. Keep the sun out of the van and create some power as well. The other advantage of having them on there as well, as the sun moves round, I can turn the van round, because the stays for my awning are actually fastened to the side of the van, so I can actually move the van while it's still up. There's that 400 watt solar panel. The sun's gone in a bit. I've run 2 extension cables from it and plugged it into my Anker Solex fridge freezer. And that's running it no problem whatsoever, which is a great way to save power when you're camping. So I don't have to run that off my power supply, I can just run it direct from solar. And there is a battery in here that will charge up. And that's putting about 150 watts, 160 watts in that. And as you can see, the sun's disappeared. We have a traditional type panel, folding panel from Jackery, which aren't cheap. And You have to buy adapters if you want to use it on any other system. They are designed these to have legs on there to stand up at 45 degrees, and you get an eyelet to line up with the sun to get the best position. And that's running now, and that's producing 69 watts. Now if I was to stand that up facing the sun the other way, you'd probably get up to about 100 watts, but 100 watts to charge that is going to take a hell of a long time. That's a 1000 watt unit. So you do get a top up on small panels, but bigger is obviously better as long as you can store them. And if you look at the size of this, that's almost the same size as the 400 watt folded up. Just to check out EcoFlow, Bluetti, All Powers, most other portable solar panels are twice if not bigger than that when they're folded up. About this panel is that if you do get bits and pieces on it, you don't lose a lot of power. It's almost proportionate to the bits that are covered, and that's relevant to that type of cell, the shadow resistance really. Show you the specifications in the lid. You freeze frame that, and that's the 400 watt solar panel. It has the shoulder strapping to use it like a rucksack, and the sockets on there for USBs. That's on the other side, and it's got the same socket and USBs on there, and your solar connection leads, and lots of these D-rings and loops all around it. So if you want to win one of these, and it comes as a unit, you get the 400 watt portable solar panel and you get the S1 MPPT unit, and we've got them at home. They're brand new in a box. You just need to be a subscriber, you need to be in the UK. In the comments of this video, leave the words "I want one," and make sure you leave the words "I want one." And because we scan through that, we use the computer to scan through that and randomly pick a winner. And then in a future video where we'll do a giveaway results video, we'll announce all the winners of all the giveaways, and you'll see the slide of the winner for each giveaway. And if you're lucky enough, you'll see your slide and comment there, and we'll contact you through my email address, which is onemanandhiswhippet@gmail.com. We'll cover all the costs. Anybody else contact you in any other way, it's purely a scam. That just leaves me to say thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. I wonder what we're going to do next. We like some variation on this programme, don't we? Thanks again. See you soon.